Hey, you are now watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV.
Hey, we in Chicago, y'all, and y'all watching Crumb TV.
It's your brother, Tim Buck 2, I say.
You are now watching Crumb TV.
You in Chi-Town finest, you hear me? Inglewood, always up to no good.
Man, I'm telling my brother Crumb.
You're watching Crumb TV.
I'm your humble brother, and you are watching Crumb TV.
Reporting live from the Wild Hunters, Southside Chicago.
And you now watching Crumb TV.
And you're watching Crumb TV.
Crumb TV, baby. Hey.
Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? Thank y'all for tapping in another great episode. Crumb TV Network. It is me, your boy. This information. Happy 420. Let's get it in. You already know, get your pens and your pads. It's going to be a doubleheader tonight. So be patient as we get through this piece. But I can't do it without my bro, Crumb himself. Peace and love, brother.
Peace and love, good brother. How are you?
All is truly well. All is truly well, man. How you feeling this evening?
I'm humbled. I'm grateful. I'm excited. I'm glad to be in the building.
That's what it is. Well, you know, and keeping with tradition, let's tap into the first responders, as we call them, and see who is popping. This brother is always on deck, man. First of all, brother, just want to give you flowers, brother. This bro's always on deck, man, for sure. Chief Dot Gifted Ninja. Yes, for sure. Somebody shout out Crumb. Somebody.
Cosmic Cutie, she says Crumb. Peace and love.
That's what it is. Honestly, peace and love, peace and love. Waking soul, no sleep. That's what's up. Yeah. So listen to my pen and pad game. Y'all know what it is, man. Get your pencil, get your paper, take notes. Don't believe that we say this evening, man. This is information. Do your own research and find out for yourself. What's up, bro?
Yeah, I was going to say, for those who subscribe to the teachings of M.O.I, that pen and that pad are initiatory. If you are a neophyte, if you are an initiate, if you are a disciple, a part of your initiation is to take notes with your pen and pad. This is how you become a disciple of the high priest, the minister of information.
It's long. It's long. It's long. Appreciate that, brother. Sister always on deck. Nothing ever to worry about. And see, it's a lot of my repeat people that I'm gonna start posting these quizzes and examinations for y'all to take too, to see if y'all been paying attention. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go to Google Classroom and invite y'all to Google Classroom and just post quizzes and see have y'all really been paying attention, just been listening. For sure. Shalom, shalom. Oh, you already know. You already know. Shalom. Is it shalom shalakim?
Yeah. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam.
Which are all the same thing. We'll get to it in a minute though. Peace and love. Peace and love. Solo 5,000. Passion divine. Wholeness all. No, that's right. Happy 420 to everybody. I don't see nobody posting about no 420. The powder and the Molly and the pills and the lean took everybody out. Nobody's at 420 anymore. Damn. Monica White, peace and love. Please take notes. And as a matter of fact, if y'all want to post y'all notes, send an email to Chrome from the notes y'all taking. Scan them. If it's on pencil and paper, scan your notes or type them up or whatever the case is, or and email over to Chrome. And I would love to do this a presentation of the master students and the disciple notes. And that's another method of learning from one another too. You just share notes, you know what I'm saying? So definitely tap into that, man, for sure. All right, a couple more before we get started. Rody, peace and love, for sure. So we expecting this to do numbers tonight, and y'all already know that I ain't gonna get into I need 90 people up there. We at 62, so we can't start the show till we get at least 90 people up there, please. Do what Rody just said. Hit the button, get the likes up for sure. Tap in. Peace. Representative of the TON. What's TON, Cron? What's that?
I'm not sure. My apologies.
Utmost. Tap in and let us know what TON stand for.
Please share.
Appreciate the love anyway, though. 63 people. Come on, y'all. You gotta tap in, share it. I'm not even gonna start until we get 90 people up there in the chat. It's gonna be mandatory. I feel like we deserve that courtesy from the viewers. You know what I'm saying? And once again, don't forget, please tap in with us June 16th. If you guys like or enjoy watching us online, you're gonna have a ball watching us in person. Really teach. You can touch us, not like that. But I'm saying we'll be there in the flesh. So do a lot of great talking, a lot of great building, man. Please get the tickets. Come out, check us out. Space is limited, so you got myself up here in person, asking you guys to come out. And if you can't make it down to Florida for whatever reason, tap in to chromtv.info/events and watch with us virtually. The virtual ticket should be on sale. I'm sorry, I got kids in the background. The virtual ticket should be on sale pretty soon. So tap in with us, man. Come hang out, man. That's your treat. We have 64 people, y'all. Come on, fam. We gotta tap in. So, Crown, let me ask you this question: What put you back on this subject tonight? Because we talked about this a couple different times, in part, but not in whole. So, I think we're gonna do a part 1 and part 2 to this evening. But what put you back in line with this message right here?
Yeah. So I was reading a book about aliens, and Melchizedek was in the book. And we've talked time. Brother, are we still here? Are we good? Okay, yeah. We've talked before about the concept of aliens and gods, and I think you've kind of alluded to it with the Urantia book, dealing with these entities up there somewhere. Some people call them heavens, some people call it space, so on and so forth. So as I was reading this book about aliens, Melchizedek was in there, and I found it interesting that he was classified as an alien, and not even out of the way interesting, but just to say, hey, the story of Melchizedek is very interesting, and it deserves a little more attention. And if he is an alien, I'm not saying he is, if some people call them aliens, that's fine. Or some people call them spirits, I'm cool with that as well. But if he is an alien, then we have to acknowledge these entities, these aliens, they're shape shifting. We saw the same thing with Zeus. Zeus, according to the Greco-Roman theologies, was a shapeshifter as well. So we're seeing these higher powers come from the heavens. They shapeshift, and they come to Earth respectfully, dealing with women, and it just kind of blew my mind when I was reading it. And in my excitement, and family, I just want you to know that we haven't gotten into the official measure right now. We're waiting to get to 100. So while I'm talking, share this in your Facebook, not just your messages, but share this in those groups, those Facebook groups. If you're in one of these Facebook groups about religion or about whatever the case may be, share it in those groups. The algorithm is a little more favorable over there. Share it to your stories, your Instagram stories. Share it to your community tab and your on your YouTube channel. So those will help us get to the numbers, that threshold for where we can actually start this. So shout out to the whole family. But nonetheless, yeah, I was reading this book on aliens, and Melchizedek came up, and within my excitement, the family already knows I've got to go to the high priest about it. So I went to the high priest and the minister of information, and we started talking about it, having a very exciting conversation. I only expected it to be a conversation, and then the minister came back to me and he said, we got to really air this whole thing out about Melchizedek, from, as grandma would say, from the rooter to the tutor.
I mean, for sure. What I want to do is go back, because you mentioned shape shifting. I never heard it first before. When you said it, something else came to mind. I'm gonna share with you in a minute. But I just wanted to meditate a little bit on this shape shifting, or what they seem to call it, a metamorph. Not to be confused with metamorphosis, or metamorphosis. Shape shift, redirect here is giving you a couple other situation. A transmogrification. And mythological folklore, speculative fiction, shape shifting is the ability to physically transform oneself through an inherited superhuman ability. Divine intervention, demonic manipulation, sorcery, spells, or having an inherited ability. The idea of shape-shifting is one of the oldest totemism. Totem, this is here in North America. You won't find totem poles nowhere else on the planet. Not referred to as totem poles I'm speaking about. Correct. A totem is a spirit being, sacred object, or symbol that serves as an emblem of a group of people, such as a family, clan, lineage, or a tribe, such as, can I say that word, Ashton B clan system. So you see this same situation over in ancient Egypt, where the deities are made to look like animals. So the ancient Egyptian totem is a little bit different, but nevertheless, it's referring to some great spirit. In these lands, North America, they call it the Great Spirit, which symbolizes an eagle or falcon. Nothing else can fly as high as a freaking eagle. Okay, so eagles don't have any problem. Eagles actually mate in the air. That's how much air they got up there. So these spirit creatures have been always associated with humans and animals. What I find interesting is, in Christianity, they teach something called transconceptuation. I'm saying it slow because it's a big word. Transconstantulation. And that situation is when they amalgamate humans with deities, kind of like what they did with Yeshua. They affiliated him with a deity, with a higher principle of nature, the all. And I just want to point that out. Shamish, it's another word, dealing with a shaman, they call him. But again, right back to Native American. This is the northern part of North America, if I had to guess, around Alaska somewhere, or Canada, where we are. 78 people. Okay, come on. You guys are warming up. But what do you think about this? Just what we're seeing right here.
Well, the family needs to really take some serious consideration that even in Christianity, when these spirits, spirits by definition, they don't have a physical form. Spirits, by definition, don't have a physical form. So when you take on a physical form, you've changed your shape. You've changed your appearance. And I think it's real interesting, and I'm trying to train myself to stop saying things are funny because there are no strange happenings. Law governs all events, so it's not funny. It's interesting that even within this, layman article, they use the word divine, and in Christianity, we associate divine or divinity to something good, in the simplest terms. So you're going to have these good guys, because the demons, the reptilians, the shapeshifters, and we think of them as bad energies. But you're going to see even your divine figures, your divine totems, your divine spirits, where they shapeshift as well. So this isn't something, and I'm not saying don't be spooky about it, but I think it would be an unfair assessment just to make these shapeshifters all evil. A lot of these shapeshifters, are entities that we hold in high esteem. Just unmute your mic.
So this is setting us up to get into the lesson. And I want people to follow along to understand how this is going to set us up for the lesson, because we're going to talk about a few key people in both Christianity, Islam, the three world religions. We're going to see the focal point person being Jesus, or as they say, Isa el-Maryam, or Yeshua al-Mashiach, however we want to say it, right? This individual himself is a shapeshifter. And see, there's a couple words you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with words like shapeshifting, transconfiguration, transformation, morphing. You're going to deal with those words. Watch this real quick. I'm going to show you where Jesus did this. Well, let's keep reading shapeshift. I want to set it up a little bit, right? Folklore, mythology, popular shapeshifting creatures, folklore, werewolves, vampires, mostly of Europe, Canada, Native American. I'm not sure what this is right here. Shifting cobras of India, Haljong, East Asia, Japanese. You have gods, goddesses, and demons. Demonists like succubus and incubus. That should be familiar to most people. A succubus, or a demon supernatural entity in folklore in a female form that appears in dreams to seduce men, usually through sexual activities. According to religious tradition, a succubus needs semen to survive. Repeated sexual activity with a succubus will result in a bondage. So, ladies, pay attention to the words in rap music. Those spells, these women who just love to, get it on all the time. Throat babies. The song Throat Baby itself was completely written on the fact that women are drinking semen. These are succubus entities. Go ahead, brother.
And just to elaborate, because this whole thing for me was initiated reading this book about aliens or aliens and gods. When you look at these descriptions, it's not necessarily something that we're going to make mythological. When you look at your vampires in terms of aliens, these are the draconians from the Draco star system. When you look at your um, werewolves, these are your Lyrans from the Lyranian star system. These are real places up there in the heavens. As it is above, it is below. There was a war in heaven, and within the chaos, some of those beings took refuge on Earth, in Earth, around the Earth, meaning the the asteroid belt. So I know we want to make it very high level and just kind of write it off as mythology, and I have no problem with that either. However, it's just interesting when we look deeper into these concepts of aliens, gods, mythology. It does coincide with astrological phenomenon being, different star systems at the very least. And just hit that unmute button, brother.
You got me over here looking like, damn, I never thought about it that way. Yeah, absolutely correct too. So the lichens, they call them lichens, or what's they call them? Adapa. No, not the Adapa. They're the Adapa are the I can't think of the name of the thing, man. Bigfoot are called the Adapa.
Correct.
The werewolves come from Canis Minor, Canis Major star system. People like what the fuck is he talking about? so watch this. Canis Minor, Canis Major star system. So this is Canis Minor. All right. And so this is gonna pay attention to this part because I'm gonna go through this again. Because then with 118, then we can start teaching Islam. Islam for everybody. Peace and light for sharing. Get it out there. Continue to put this out there. So now we talk about the Canis Minor star system. Write that down. Canis Minor. Okay. We're talking about a part of the Galactic Federation. All right. But the part of the Galactic Federation we're talking about, as Brother Crom was alluded to, was the alien side of things. But you also have a celestial hierarchy that we'll get into also that encompasses certain star systems like Bordak, Santania, and we're going to talk about Caligastia, okay, and Lucifer. And then we're going to go to the Draco star system. Because this is the information I keep telling you over and over. We have to start learning this part of information now. The history and Black and African power to the people is cool. But this is the galactical information you guys need to understand to get the next download. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. You're talking about the moon being here, the moon being there. You're not connecting because you're not getting the input into your computer brain, the program. This is the program me and Chrome is trying to install into your minds to understand the next level of information that's coming down the pipe. Islam, go ahead, brother. I hear the floor.
Now, I'm so glad that the high priest brought this up, Canis Major, because as it is above, so it is below. When we're dealing with Canis Major, the star system, well, actually, I think that's a particular star, but this is going to be the macro to the micro, the land of Canaan. And a lot of family may say, hey, well, Crumb, just because the words sound similar doesn't mean that there's a connection. Because I'm gonna connect, and I was just talking to the minister minutes before we went live about Melchizedek being the king from the land of Canaan. So Jesus, who was a colonizer, his people were colonizers. They colonized the land of Canaan. Jesus has this exchange in the Bible with the Canaanite woman. And I find it to be very, and I got to stop saying funny, I find it to be very interesting when Jesus has a conversation with the Canaanite woman. They refer to dogs. What the hell, man? So, Jesus, the Canaanite woman is asking for something. I forgot what she asked for. And Jesus was like, hell no. Hell no. So then the Canaanite woman, because we're talking about, canines and stuff like that, she makes a reference to say, well, don't even the dogs get this, or so on and so forth. Let me see what you got here, brother.
That's Matthew 15, 21 through 28. Jesus left the place and went to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Remember, Tyre is a location that, what's his name? King Hiram is from Tyre, Masons. Tyre was the upper part of Lebanon. Matter of fact, it was called the Tall Cedars, the Tall Trees of Lebanon. That's Tyre. The district of Tyre is where Hiram of Biff and Hiram of Tyre comes from. Anyway, just then, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, "Have mercy on me, Lord." The prelude to this is Jesus at a well, and the disciples went into the town. And the lady had already came across the disciples, and the disciples already told her that, so she just so happened to see Jesus at the well, where the water is, getting water, and she has a conversation with Jesus. So this is the conversation. And his disciples came to urge him. See, the disciples was walking toward him like, "No, leave her alone, leave her alone." They said to Jesus, "Send her away, for she keeps shouting after us." He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." That's what Jesus said he was sent to. He wasn't sent to nobody else. So I don't know where they get that from. But he said the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which they're alluding to the tribe of Judah, which was split in half by King Solomon. That's why Tyre is mentioned earlier. The district of Tyre in the first part of the story is mentioned, because now you have the tribe of Judah being split, one by Solomon, one by his other brother who went north. So there's two groups of Judah that is split. That's what Jesus is talking about. He answered, "It is not fair. It is not fair to take the children's food." Ben Israel, the children of Israel. He says it's not fair to take the children of Israel's food, their portion of food, I would assume, and throw it to dogs. Jesus referred to the woman as a dog. She said, the dog, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table." Then Jesus answered her, "Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for as you wish." Not that I'm doing it. Jesus said, because of your faith, because of how you feel about it, you feel that way, and your daughter was healed. Well, she was healed instantaneously because of the mother's belief, not because Jesus did anything. So that's the verse you're referring to. I'm sorry. That's referring to the Canaanites.
Right. So, when we're dealing with Canis Major and we're dealing with the land of Canaan, I don't want anyone to say that, oh, well, this is a reach, because even according to Jesus, when he was going throughout those lands, he referred, that there was this conversation with a woman and dogs came up, canines came up. I just find these things to be highly coincidental.
No, they're not coincidental, but see, what you're speaking of is all throughout the scriptures. For example, Amos 5:8 said, "There are those who turn justice into wormwood and cast righteousness to the ground. He who made the Pleiades and the Orion, who turns darkness into dawn and darkness day into night, who summons the waters of the sea to pour over the face of the earth. The Lord is his name." So now we can go back to Genesis chapter 1 and draw context to who is creating these star systems, because this is the creation of the heavens and the earth. The heavens have names, locations. The Palladian star system and the Orion star system. They can be, Job 9:9 said, his maker of the bear and the Orion. See, there's a star system that looks like a bear also. Like there's one that looks like a dog. And this is called anthropomorphization. It's when they anthropomorphize an image. See, all this stuff comes from Dondora, or the Dondora Zodiac, which is talking about Zodiacus, the lawgiver. All this stuff is information you heard before, but it's how you put it together. So I agree. But I want to point something else out real quick. Pay attention to, family. They're saying that Canis Minor is the 8th brightest star. The 8th brightest star. All right. We know who the first brightest star was. Lucifer. Go ahead, brother.
No, I yield the floor. Please continue.
Okay, so now let's get into the willy-nilly. Now that the pregame is over, shapeshifter. Because we're talking about Melchizedek, Melchizedek. Let's talk about Melchizedek for a minute. Then I'm gonna go back to shapeshifting, because I have to show you something unique with Abraham. Not only when Melchizedek meets Abraham, but also when these angels came back to meet Abraham at the tent, they shapeshifted into 3 men, and 2 men went into Sodom and Gomorrah. We're gonna get to that point though. I just want to kind of set up the pretext for you, brother. I give the floor.
Absolutely. So the story takes place with Abraham. He's chilling, he's minding his business. Now he got a nephew, and his nephew's name is Lot. And Lot is in the city of Sodom. And there's a bunch of kings. I don't know how many. I think the Bible only lists like one of them, but there's several others. And these kings come through Sodom, and they tear Ish up. And within their wake, they grab up Lot, and they take him as a part of their melee, their rampage. So after they take him, Abraham, his uncle, he hears about it. So he gathers together a small little army, and they go and they wreck shop, and they get Lot back. After they get Lot back, 2 kings go and meet Abraham. Well, at the time he's Abram. 2 kings go and meet Abram, the king of Sodom and the king of Salem. And they both they kind of thank him. Hey, we saw what you did. It was peaceful. You're a really dope guy. You are a child of the true God who created heavens and earth. And this is the first time we hear of Melchizedek. This is the first time in the Bible he just kind of appears as a king of a city associated with Sodom, which is infamously associated with Gomorrah. I yield.
No, you on a roll. I was just trying to show the family and the Bible. I was just going, script for script in the Bible. It's Genesis 14 that the brother so brilliantly recited from the dome, like for real. I think if you dive into the text itself, after hearing that rendition of the story, you'll go in with a better understanding. There's a couple of things that I wanted to point out that you should make note of in Genesis 14. We're going to talk about Shinar. Shinar, write down Shinar, right? We are equally as concerned about the names of the kings of Shinar, denoting the El, which are all from El Elyon, or Elyon El, the Most High God who resides in the 7th heaven. Okay, so let's pay attention to the names. As Aphrael, king of Shinar. Now, the original king of Shinar, does anybody, and I'm gonna pull up my Chrome my Jeopardy clip first, because that's fucking hilarious. Where's it at? Here it is. Can anybody tell me, in the listening audience, who is the original king of the land of Shinar? In case you didn't hear me, let's start it over. It was kind of quick. Who is the original king of the land of Shinar? And we're coming out of Genesis 14. We're talking about Ephrael, the king of Shinar. This is who Abram went up against, who was one of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. So the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah are going to make sense with the stories of the land of Babylon, which is not the same, but they get the same stories. So who is the original king of Shinar? Well, listen, I should have known better asking a bunch of master students.
Right.
I should have known better. My fault. Asking a bunch of master students. Because a lot of people don't know that question. You got 130, almost 200 people tapped in right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I would say
And everybody, okay, hold on. True Fist of the North Star. Sis, bruh, I'm not sure. You bring up Marduk. Almost, but not quite. Marduk comes from Inca Enlil, that story, because Marduk goes back to another entity. This is the other side of it right here. But great guest though. Anywho, Nimrod, master students are on the fucking ball, man. Wow.
I was speaking with Crip Jesus before I went live with you, and we were talking about layman's. A layman is a person who just knows like the basic pop culture stuff like that. So, on any normal live anywhere on YouTube or where else, you're going to get people who are absolutely respectfully, but they're absolutely clueless. But when you're dealing with the disciples and the master students, these are people who have already been initiated by the high priest, the minister of information, and they're really familiar in the adept chambers. I yield.
Absolutely, I'm saying right. So I just wanted to point that out. We got a lot to get through, so I'm gonna go ahead and proceed. But when you're going through Genesis 14, definitely take note of Shinar, which would then point out the Raphaelim. All right, the Raphilims. You have the Raphilims. You have the Nephilims. All right. When you hear them say Jehovah Rapha, you're referring to the Lord of the Raphilims. Jehovah Rapha, that's the Lord of the Raphilims, or the Rephilim. You also have the Nephilim as well, which are part of that giant group that was created. Anyway, the king of Sodom and Gomorrah, which the brother mentioned earlier, when Abram, see, his name wasn't always Abraham. His name wasn't always Abraham. And I think this is what a lot of, I hear a lot of those who of the Hebrew faith say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's what they say. So we have to make note that his name was not always Abraham. Where was Abram from, brother? If you can recall.
My apologies, I don't know.
He was from, Abraham was a Chaldean.
Oh yeah, from the land of Ur.
From the land of Ur. And if you do some real good research, and the good brother Crumb has already done his due diligence, dealing with the what were they called, brother? The priests in that region who used to burn bullshit or holy shit. What are their names?
Magi.
Were they the Druid priests? The Druids, the ones who used to burn the holy shit? Where the term holy shit come from?
Yeah, those are magi under Zoroaster with the religion Zoroastrianism. If I can give a
Zoroastrianism. Yeah.
if I can give a
Yeah.
little bit of context,
Please.
the Jews were not always monotheistic. Originally, when you're dealing with the Jews, they're like everybody else, respectfully, and they're polytheistic. So the Jews, they get um, kidnapped, abducted, I don't know how you want to word that, by the Babylonians. This is where they wrote the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, and a lot of people will tell you that's demonic, it's spooky, because over in Babylon, they had a lot of different deities that they worshiped and venerated. After that, Babylon is overthrown by they're not called Persians at the time, but Zoroaster, um, I forgot what their king's name was, but the Jews even call him a prophet. Um, the Babylonians. Let me ask the master students who overthrew Babylon, and they were the new overseers of the Jews, and they allowed the Jews to go back to Jerusalem. Who, what was the name of those people that overthrew Babylon and
Persians.
allowed the Jews? The
That's Persians.
Persians. Okay,
Yeah.
I
That's
thought they
King Darius. That was the grandfather of Xerxes.
King Darius. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I yield.
Xerxes' grandfather, yeah.
So the Persians, their belief system was under um, their god named Mazda, just like the car Mazda, but it was Ahura Mazda. And the worshippers, well, the prophet of Ahura Mazda, his name is Zoroaster. Well, the disciples of Zoroaster, they're called Magi or Magi, which is the root word, as the high priest, the minister of information, always tells you, is the root word of magic, is the root word of magistrate, is the root word of imagination. And this is now these people, they were fire worshipers, and their fire burned off methane gas, and they got this methane gas from cows. This is where you see directly south of them, India, with this bull worship, this cow worship, this bovine worship. Same thing with Hathor. These people are worshiping. I don't even know how to respectfully say it. Holy shit. There it is. Ahura Mazda, who is the god, and his prophet is Zoroaster, whose disciples are called Magi or Magi. And this is why when Jesus was born, the three Magi, or otherwise known as the wise men, came to pay homage. There he is, Zoroaster, of the religion Zoroastrianism. These people,
Like
remember,
Jesus. Like
these
Jesus,
people,
with the iron scepter.
they think, woo, the ascended master. Y'all better tap in. These are your first ascended masters before the Jewish people had a monotheistic religion. This was the first dose of monotheism that the Jews get. So after they go to Babylon and they're indoctrinated with all this polytheism, they change hands. There's an acquisition. Countrywide fails, and Bank of America takes in all these toxic loans. That's a 2008 business reference. So the Persians take over and Babylon, and they give you monotheism. So the Jews are released under King Darius, and then they go back talking that monotheistic mumbo jumbo. Respectfully,
I'm just showing the family of the similarities between. I just brought you out of Zoroastrianism. I hope you guys pay attention to the uniforms and what they had on. This is Aaron.
teach.
Look at what Aaron is wearing, the same garbs as the Zoroastrians, because it is Zoroastrianism. Now see, Aaron and that priesthood is of the Levitical priesthood. I'm gonna bring it back to Melchizedek. Aaron is of the Levitical priesthood. So you have Levi, Simon, and Reuben, the first three sons of Jacob or Jacob. They're also known as the three ruffians. Okay, they're also known as Jubilee, and Jubelum, or Akrop, Gravelot, and Cubelum, who tried to get the master plans from the temple, the Sun Temple. Because see, all these right here are a bunch of, let me show you who they really are. Right? And I'm trying not to say the word, but this is Aaron. So follow along, religiously follow along with who we're talking about. So we won't have to say the word. I can say the word Yehudi, and they don't know what I'm talking about. But these are not the real Yehudi anyway. So Aaron is of another priesthood now. And I'm saying it because the Bible is going to make a specific difference between the priesthood of Aaron and the priesthood of Melchizedek. And we're going to see who models himself after the priesthood of Melchizedek and who models themselves after the priesthood of Aaron, right? Another group of people called the Pharisees and Sadducees, Kohanes, the Jewish priests. That's what a Kohen is. Look at the garbs. Look at the garbs. I just showed you Zoroastrianism. Now going back to Zoroastrianism, we showed you the figure that looked like Christ Jesus, with the sun around his head, with the finger up in the air, the scepter in his arm, which is the staff that Moses had. This is the staff of Moses, which was encased inside of the Ark of the Covenant, which was inside of King Solomon's temple. Follow me. Follow the information. What I'm telling you, like the shit is not hard. It's very easy to follow it. Now watch this right here. Serapis Bay. Now this is Serapis Bay.
Teach.
Everything you just saw comes out of the temple of ancient Egypt. Literally. Islam is a part of it. Christianity is a part of it. Divination is a part of it. The Masonic code is a part of it. The shrine is a part of it. The Moorish science is a part of it. This is all part of a bigger school. So you notice that Serapis Bay is depicted many ways, but just like Jesus. This is Serapis Bay. This is how you become a ascended master. That symbol we just saw earlier around the god Zoroastrian became a serpent. Do y'all see the supposed swastika up here as well? This information was taught by Madame Blavatsky also. Madame Blavatsky brought this to America. But this is of a real high order of priests with real information, which will make sense when I show you about Melchizedek. You got anything you want to add, brother?
Yeah, now when you're dealing with Madame Blavatsky, one of her disciples who carries on her teachings from a European aspect is Manly P. Hall. I wanted to ask just a simple 666 will do. If you're familiar with Madame Blavatsky and or Manly P. Hall, or both of them for that matter, give me a 666. If not, give me a 777. This is just a pulse check to see where the family's at. These are Europeans. Yes, they are. However, they're very deep into the occult, into the adept chambers, into the ancient esoteric teachings of our ancestors. So now Manly P. Hall writes a book about Melchizedek. And when Manly P. Hall writes his book about Melchizedek, he only mentions Melchizedek one time in the whole book. And when Manly P. Hall talks about Melchizedek, he talks about Melchizedek from a Masonic standpoint, saying this is the guy who is going to set the initiation ritual up. So when you look at Melchizedek, or if you think about Melchizedek, Aleister Crowley is another one as well, but he's not necessarily in this particular story. But nonetheless, when you look at Melchizedek, think about the initiation from the Masonic initiate to the Master Mason, or from the neophyte to the ascended master. even though these are our ancestors' ancient teachings, in terms of modern conscious streams of thought, the people who are going to reinforce these ideas from the European standpoint are your theologians, Madame Blavatsky, Manly P. Hall, so on and so forth, and they're going to be the ones who study religion at deeper depths. I yield.
Now, you said a lot, so I want the family to pay attention to the symbol here. Make that mental note. I know it's a lot going on. You see the you see the swastika. you see a lot going on in this picture right here. There's no religion higher than truth. It's the highest religion. Make note of that sign. Your brother said Manly P. Hall. Manly P. Hall wrote the ritual for the Masonic order, 1st through 3rd degree. That's Manly P. Hall.
Teach.
Okay. Madame Blavatsky. Madame Blavatsky. What's she at? Go back to her real quick. Let me show y'all something. Why do y'all think they call her Madam? What was the job of a Madam? The job of a Madam was to run a brothel, whorehouse.
Teach.
Madame Blavatsky supplied the women for the Masons. This is why Jack the Ripper was running through the streets over there, slaying these prostitutes that belong to Madame Blavatsky. You see that, Lodge?
If I could just chime in right there, just to echo the sentiments of the minister, when you're dealing with the oldest profession known as prostitution, back in the day, there was no such.
Peace.
Peace and love. Hold on.
Peace, brother. Huh? Can you hear me?
Yeah, give me a second. I think we lost Chrome. Hold on. Oh man, Chrome was going in too. Brother Chrome, make sure you tap back in, man.
My apologies, brother. My apologies. Can you hear the?
Yeah.
My apologies. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Now.
Well, real quick, just want to wrap it up. Just want to wrap it up. So when you're dealing with the oldest profession known to man, and you can Google this, before we knew the value of gold, we knew the value of vagina. So the first pimp was not a pimp, it was a madam. And this is where you're going to find the whore of Babylon. If you go look up the word whore, it is holy or Horus, the holy woman who was into her sexuality. This is where you get your madams from. I yield.
Oh, buddy. Wait a minute. You just can't come do that and just yield the floor. Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. Yo, the brother was saying so much. Listen. Wow. So, God. Chrome, you said a lot, bro. This brother said, like Madam C.J. Walker.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
That's absolutely correct. Madam C.J. Walker. So I just wanted to draw that parallel, and good brother Crom killed it just then. He murdered it. Damn. All right. Continue to walk it out. Crip Jesus in the building. Tap in, bro.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Welcome, good brother.
Bad signal I had to come through.
Welcome, good brother. How you feeling?
Oh, it's 420. Funny, I ain't feeling too well today. I ain't feeling too bad, but I don't know. But I'm here though.
We're gonna speak some peace over you, brother, and
appreciate that.
maybe body telling you just need to slow down a little bit and So, you know,
Yeah,
there's got a way of letting us know, hey, time to sit your ass down.
exactly.
You've been doing too much, but definitely thank you for joining, man, coming on here. We I got to circle back over to Melchizedek real quick. So let me kind of flip the pillow a little bit, if you will, because we got new people just tapping in. We had 168 viewers right now, and they're probably coming in on the Madam Blavatsky part. So what we were talking about, to walk y'all back just a little bit, was talking about the historicity of the priesthood. And this priesthood is a priesthood between Aaron and Moshe and Melchizedek. Let me point out something real quick about the priesthood of Melchizedek. Watch this. The priesthood of Melchizedek. I'm not doing anything, but hold on, sorry. The priesthood of Melchizedek. I'm not doing anything special. I'm doing some real light research that you all can do the same thing. But we have to draw on who he is first before we talk about Melchizedek. The priesthood of Melchizedek. Now, the priesthood is a whole priesthood. It's an ancient priesthood, and I think Brother Crum mentioned it earlier, and I echo what he said. If he didn't say it, I'm saying it first. That Melchizedek is Michael. All right, let's go ahead and get that out the way. Melchizedek is really Christ Michael. All right, let there be no surprise, and let it be no doubt about who and what we're talking about. Christ Michael. Michael, the archangel, considered as a Christ prior to incarnation. We're talking about what again? We're talking about shape-shifting.
Shape-shifting.
Now watch how I connect the dots. See, first you got to follow the dots, but I'm going to connect the dots for y'all. I promise you, give me about 4 minutes at the time. I'm about to connect the dots for y'all and show you how easy this stuff is. This is Christ Michael, also known as Michael, aka also known as Melchizedek. Melech means angel, Zedek, righteousness. This is Michael, the angel of righteousness. Christ Michael, he's the God of where? Nebudon. Now I'm about to take y'all up through there, so hang on, seatbelt on right now, because we're going, and we're gone, and everything I say. No, I'm serious. Everything I'm about to tell you for the next 2 minutes, you've never heard before in your freaking life, or maybe heard of it, or a version of it. This is Michael of Nebudon. Who is Michael of Nebudon, and what the hell is he talking about? Michael of Nebudon is the God of, Christ Michael is the God of Nebudon universe, who was reincarnated with Jesus, double incarnation, and incarnation against, again, the human flesh. Written in these sacred books, did you know about this? He was reincarnated, who was reincarnated with who? Along with who? With, not as.
Jesus!
No, watch this now. Watch this. Michael and Nebudon. Melchizedek is Michael. Genesis, right here. The Quam Scrolls, I'm going to old books, also indicated that Melchizedek was used as the name of the archangel who? Michael, interpreted as the heavenly priest. Michael is Melchizedek, contrast with Belial, who is given the name Melech, Rasha, king of wickedness. The words Michael or Melech is the giveaway. So Michael is Melchizedek. Where did Melchizedek come from? Well, to understand that, you got to go into the book of Enoch, the first book of Enoch. There's 2 books of Enoch. And see, this is how you study. You follow the breadcrumbs. We're going to deal with a high priest by the name of Ner. Ner is the forefather of Methuselah, who is the son of Lamech. And I'm saying Lamech like that because Masons should know who Lamech is. If you're a master Mason raised in the lodge, you should know who Lamech is. I don't know about everybody else. But Methuselah. Now Methuselah is the son of Lamech. He had two sons, Ner and No. No. After Methuselah was given a disturbing vision of a flood coming, Ner was made a priest. So Ner is the brother of Noah. Noah is the one who Methuselah prophesies about is going to break the curse of Adam. Ner, Noah, Methuselah. Ner, who's the high priest at this time, wife Sophia, becomes pregnant in her whole age. This is the same story repeated throughout the Bible with Sarah, who's too old to give birth. The angels come back and deal with her. She gives birth to who? Isaac.
Who? Isaac.
Isaac did not come from Abraham's ballsack. Isaac is not the seed of Abraham.
Teach.
Not Isaac. Now, his brother Ishmael is definitely from Abraham's nutsack. It tells you because Sarah got pissed off when Qatar, her name is, became pregnant. Okay, who's an Egyptian. Okay, anyway, Ner is the high priest. His wife Sophia became pregnant. Ner never touched her. So this is a story again between Joseph and Mary. Never touched her. When Ner discovers she is pregnant, he rebukes her and it sends her away. No, who is Noah, discovers this and tells Ner that the Lord has covered up our scandal. They will bury her in a black shroud, a secret grave. The child, however, was not dead. It came out of the dead mother fully developed. This terrified Noah and Ner, but since the child glorious in appearance, he realized the Lord was renewing the priesthood and their bloodlines, and the name was what? Melchizedek. Melchizedek. Now, most people tell you that Melchizedek comes without mother nor father. That's a lie. Melchizedek came the same way that Jesus came, the same way that Elizabeth gave birth to John, the same way that Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the same way that everybody in the book with these angels are these foreign creatures who incarnate themselves to look like men. If you don't think that angels can incarnate themselves and look like men, I'm going to show you this and I'm going to pass the mic about how these creatures, these things can come down from the heaven and reincarnate themselves into human beings. Watch this. We're talking about the priesthood of Melchizedek, in case anybody's confused what we're talking about right now. Let me show you this. And when I come back, I'm gonna talk about Abraham and Melchizedek again, but I'm gonna show you about Abraham and Melchizedek because Crom just read about the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, what happened with Lot. Watch this. I want to get you the Bible verse. We're going to Genesis 18. Genesis 18. See, the book reads, 3 men visit Abraham. Watch this. The Lord appeared to Abraham near 3 large trees of Marah. Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent. It was the hottest day of time all day. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. So quickly he left the entrance of his tent to greet them. He bowed low to the ground. He said, "My Lord, if you are pleased with me, do not pass me by. Gentle Savior, do not pass me by." This is Abraham talking to these 3 entities who have incarnated themselves to look like men. Call me a liar. That's okay, because I'm going to show you how 3 of these men, 2 went to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's where the story picks up, where the townsmen wanted the angels that was hiding inside of Lot's house, and Lot offered his daughters over to them. They said, "We don't want your daughters. We want those 2 angels." They said, I'm going to show you. Those 2 angels in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah were the 2 of the 3 who came to Abraham. Watch what the angels did with Abraham. He said, "My Lord, if you are pleased with me, do not pass me by. Let me get you some water. Then all of you can wash your feet and rest under this tree." Let me get you something to eat to give you the strength. Then you can go on your way. I want to do this for you. All right, they answered. Do as you say. So Abraham hurried into the tent and told Sarah, quick, he said, get 36 pounds of the finest flour prepared to bake some bread. Then run over the herd, pick out a choice tender calf, and give it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. Then he brought some butter and milk and they're about to eat a hamburger. They're about to cook out. That's what they just said. I'm a chef. Trust me, I know what to do with bread and beef. Bread, beef, and cheese. Butter and milk makes cheese, y'all. That's cheese. I mean, the cheeseburger. But the point of the matter is, I want y'all to understand that the incarnation, they can incarnate themselves or impersonate humans. They can dress themselves up to look like humans. This was the glory that Adam and Eve first found out when the Lord slayed animals and made for them skins to wear. Once they realized they could put on this flesh on top of it, because see, Adam and Eve were ether beings. They were not fleshly beings. But it said he made it from the earth. Right, he made it from the earth. See, you pick up dirt, look on the microscope, the dirt is living. There's living organisms in the dirt already. The microorganisms in the dirt. So when the Lord picked up the dirt from the earth to create Adam, the dirt was already living. It was the holy breath that gave it animation. So we have to understand the difference. I yield the floor.
I just want to say two things, and then I'll pass the mic to Crip Jesus. I'm sure he has lots of value to add. You read right there, it said the hottest part of the day. And this is just a little tidbit. This is not necessarily on topic. Does anybody know what time? Because now we're dealing with meteorology. What time is the hottest part of the day? There's a particular time, and this number is very occult. It said that this is 18 verse 1. Abraham was sitting at the entrance to the tent. It was the hottest time of the day. What time is the hottest part of the day? Family, we got to stop being so, no, not noon. It is not noon. It is an occult number. And we got to stop being so religious about it, respectfully, and take on a more higher science. So in meteorology, the hottest part of the day is 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the hottest part of the day. Go check your weather thing, and you'll see. Yeah, it's 3 p.m. 3 p.m. is the peak, and we know 3 is a very occult number. And that was just a tidbit. So let me just move on now that I've shared that with you, because we got to look a little bit deeper. Going back to the original conversation where we talked about the land of Canaan, and this is where as soon as I'm done, I want to pass the mic to Crip Jesus. Going back to the land of Canaan. So when you look at well, here, let me just add this. Who was the original God of the land of Canaan? I want to ask the listening audience. That means all of the master students. That means the divine family, and that means all of the disciples. What was the name of the God of the land of Canaan? In the land of Canaan, what was the name of their God? This is before the Jews came. Thank you, family. His name was El. This is a Canaanite religion, not a Jewish religion. The Jews were polytheistic back then, and they were adopting different religions. So when you look at Micah El is the name of his God, who was not a Jewish God, respectfully. He was a Canaanite God. And these arguably, and I'm going to pass the mic in just a second to Crip Jesus to expound upon, this is alluding to Islam, because when you say Moses, now you're dealing with the Jewish religion. But when we talk about El and the people of Canaan, now we're going back to Islam. So now you're going to see Micah El. And when Abraham came, thank you. I don't know who is this, Quiz R something Laban. When he was initiated, when Abram was initiated from Melchizedek, he initiated him in the name of El Elyon. This is not Hebrew. This is Canaanite, from the land of Canaan. So with that said, I just want to point that out, and I want to yield the floor because the good brother Crip Jesus has a lot to say about this as well. Good brother, can you help us out with this? What say ye?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Is my mic? I'm
Hold
gonna be
on.
real. Y'all on fire, man. I don't really see what I would say to add on to what y'all are necessarily speaking about, but I could add another dimension to this. Now, I know I have no contention with what was said, so forth, but it's dealing with a different science, more with like the Nephilim and things of that nature, the identity of Melchizedek, even with the L, right? Because I know in our nation how we put Allah at the end, so you might have like King Allah, something Allah. So you see through their culture, it's not so much like it's like a lot of people treat it like an aha moment, like, oh, the L, it's their last name. El is their father. It's literal. So Mishael, something El, Dani El. You feel what I'm saying? But with that being said, I wanted to point out something about the name Melchizedek. And I want to make sure we keep it in context, because when you get into the higher sciences, it's a privilege to be invited to the higher sciences that M.O.I deals with. And there's a reason why there's a reason, y'all. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, they're hiding, but it's not so much hiding. There's a difference between secret and sacred. You feel me? So when you have sacred information, it's due to the fact that a person may have to be graduated to a certain level to even grasp what's being presented to them at the moment, right? So now that we've already dealt with an hour going in, right? Let's bring it back to earth real quick. Now we know who we're dealing with and who and what they are. Now it's about taking these divine people and saying, are they just mysteries that floated on clouds, or do they belong to a group of people? Do they have a nationality? Which they do, right? And this is important. I know this is how it's taught to us, this certain topic. I'm not going to say the name Melchizedek and the signs of Melchizedek that he gave to us is taught to us. No, that's M.O.I. I'm saying this topic of my understanding of it, right? Now, I was first introduced to this just, studying the Bible, and I know a lot of dudes. I met dudes that take the name Melchizedek and go all over the place with it, right? And what you'll notice is, like the brother pointed out, in the beginning and again in New Testament, it's more like, if you pay attention to the context it's presented in the book of Hebrews, because it's only presented in the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, it's presented to like a credential, if you will. It's presented like a credential for Jesus going beyond the priesthood of the Levites and Aaron and so forth. You know what I mean? Like the brother said. So if you look at that priesthood and you look at Exodus 6:20, and I could read it right here. Exodus 6:20, it talks about a brother named Amram, who is actually the father of Aaron and Moses, right? Who would be the heads of the priests, the high priest. So here's the funny thing about that name. Now you may say, okay, so what? He's their father. Well, in the Quran, it has him as Jesus' grandfather, because it has Mary's father. Her name is Miriam ibn Imran in the Quran, and then it's the same person in Exodus 6:20. So now that we're dealing with the bloodline.
Hold on. Want to call point of order. Bring that back now. You said Aram was listed as the father of Mary
In the Quran.
in the Quran.
Yeah, her name is Miriam ibn Imran.
Okay, I have to check that out.
Uh-huh. So we deal with this.
Is her father and mother. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you go to so I mean, that's just her name, period. Even in Islam, just period. Even without going to the Quran, her name in Islam is Miriam ibn Imran. So I'm just adding on to the point of the priesthood being before the Israel Jewish, what I mean, quote unquote, what's the word I would look for? Their de facto, the head of the priesthood. It was put in Hebrew because think about it, they're saying, who are you? Who's this guy? Talking about he's the son of God. They're saying, man, he's from the priesthood before even that, right? Before even Aaron and all of them. So then you see right here now, this is the most important thing as far as how it's taught to us in the nation. Now, in us in the nation, it's taught to look at the location and the city. So the city, we could say it in English and say Salem, but it's Salem, right? Now, some people will get into the breakdown and say, yeah, Jerusalem and the Jews added the name and all that stuff. But this is what I want to do. I want to go to their own book. And you can go to Chronicles, 1 Chronicles 11:4.
Well, actually, can you start from Chronicles chapter 11 and read all the way down to 4? I was looking at that earlier, and I said, I saw it was just gold from 1, 2, and 3 as well. But I know 4 is kind of the creme de la creme. Please continue.
Yeah. We can read the whole thing. I just know 4. I mean, I feel like the whole thing just tells the story. 4 just cuts straight to the meat of what we're going for right here, And
is this it right here?
Let me see.
You said 4,
no,
right?
First Chronicles chapter 11.
Oh, 11. Okay.
Yeah. We were just talking about the verse. David becomes the king over Israel. All Israel came. Okay, now, so y'all gotta understand nationality. We break it down for y'all. So Israel at this point has no land. It's a concept. It's a group of people. As far as this story is concerned, we're not talking about who's the real Israel and all that. We're talking about this story. So all Israel came together to David.
Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. You said Israel had no land up until this time right here?
No, I ain't saying up until this time. I'm saying at this point in this story, they have no land. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm just giving you the story.
No, right. Yeah. I'm not challenging you per se. I'm really challenging the story. Like what?
Well, okay. Well, look, just check it out what it says. I wanted to go straight to 4 for you, but he wanted me to read the whole thing, so I'm gonna give it to you. All Israel came together to David at Hebron and said, "We are your own flesh and blood." They're talking to David. In the past, even while Saul was king, you were the one who led Israel on their military campaigns. And the Lord your God said to you, "You will shepherd my people Israel, and you will become their ruler." Right? So they're giving him his destiny. They say, man, because remember, they're saying, King, they're saying, David, man, you be the king of us, man. When all the elders of Israel had come to King David at Hebron, he made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel as the Lord had promised through Samuel. Okay, so y'all probably imagine this dude getting anointed and standing on top of what y'all think is Israel and all that. Let's go to 4 now. David and all the Israelites marched to Jerusalem, that is Jebus. The Jebusites who were, hold on, can you scroll it up a little bit? The Jebusites who lived there said to David, "You will not get in here." Nevertheless, David conquered the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. You feel me? So this is how it got established. So it was very important for them later on, just like the prophet reveals in Circle 7, for them to reestablish Jesus' bloodline being a natural Canaanite bloodline and not of these David usurper dudes. So that would be linking him back to Malki Tzedek, who was there already with Jebus, and who else? I think the architect who built it was Ariel.
If I could add value to that, may I?
Please.
Yeah. So based off what the good brother King
And wait,
Allah,
let me cut you off. Somebody over here putting the land was called Palestine. Get this, all these names out y'all here. That's Latin, y'all. It just said it right there. It was called Jebus. Why y'all argue with them? It said in the book that they called it Jebus.
well, if you look at the name Palestine, Palestine was given to them by the Romans. A lot of our brothers and sisters, the only teachers we've ever had were Europeans, we're Edomites, respectfully. So, when you say things like Palestine, when you say things like Yahweh, you got that from white people, respectfully. So I just want to add value to what Crip Jesus is saying. And I'm not going to debate your Roman master teachers. If those are the people that you want to, you know, uh, quote, then you're perfectly free to do that. However, respectfully, what the white man told you is not the end all be all. So fine, you call it Palestine or Philistine or whatever you want to do it, and you want to call it whatever your Roman masters told you, Yahweh, but that's a Romanized name. I digress. Speaking of the Romans, I'm sorry.
Let's go even deeper. No, we don't got to argue with it. Let's just show them their own book. We're going to show them what Israel was called. Go to Isaiah 29. This is what we're taught in the 5% nation. This is how we're taught about Melchizedek. You go straight to the cities, and it's going to reveal to you who built them, who was there. It's all through the Bible. This is not a mystery. This is something that people like to ignore because they're in love with these goddamn Jews. Okay.
See Isaiah 29, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm waiting to see how you put this together because I have so many questions.
Well, no, I'm already putting it together. I'm basically saying that in I hear y'all breaking down who Melchizedek is. I'm just saying he's presented in the Bible to substantiate Canaanite bloodline. That's all. That's my only point. In that these names, if you look in the Bible itself, it says that they were calling it Jebus. And you go to Isaiah 29, 1-8. It talks about how they were calling the city Ariel. You know what I mean? This is Jerusalem we're talking about. Zion, city of David. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Did you want to read that, or may I add value?
We can read it. Going up, I'll just read it. It's just hard for me to see it on y'all screen. But woe to you, Ariel, the city where David settled. Add year to year, and let your cycle of festivals go on. Yet I will besiege Ariel. She will mourn and lament. She will be to me like an altar hearth. I will encamp against you on all sides. I mean, the rest of this is just breaking it down. I think I've already proven what city it was right there. But brought low. You know what I'm saying? The point is, I'm saying that Melchizedek's main purpose in the Bible is to link them back to us, the Canaanite, the angel people. You feel what I'm saying? The real deals. And so Abraham is who's from not from over here. He's linked to him. He meets him and gives him a tenth of his money. Jesus, being of this bloodline, because he's like how it's revealed in Circle 7, he has the blood in him, the Canaanite blood. That's why they link him to him and say, oh, he goes to a priesthood before Aaron and them, before the Levites. He's the priest of Malki Tzedek. Feel me? If
I could put the nail in the coffin, I just want to add one thing, and then I'll put the nail in the coffin. I know a lot of people are confused about the land of Canaan, and according to the holy tablets of Dr. Malki Tzedek, there were two Canaans. There was Upper Canaan and Lower Canaan. Upper Canaan was where the European or the pale people come from. That's where you get their leader Conan comes from, the land of Upper Canaan. This is recorded and documented in the holy tablets of Dr. Malki Tzedek. Lower Canaan was not of European or they didn't call it European. It was the pale skin or something like that. Definitely not pale skin. But nonetheless, if you go to Josephus, who I know for a lot of people, if you know who that is, the Jews will call him a sellout. They're going to call him Greco-Roman boule, so on and so forth. But Josephus went as far as saying, because when we measure the historicity of the Jewish people, they go by First Temple, Second Temple. The First Temple being the first temple of Solomon, which was torn down when the Babylonians came in, and then the Second Temple of Solomon, which was erected after the Persians let them go back to their homeland. So right here we're going to see the original 11 kings of the land of Canaan. And, you know, according to the Jews, they said those 11 kings were all evil. You know, hence the 12 tribes resettled that particular land, no different than the European colonized America. I digress. Josephus said that the Canaanites who were in there first built that first temple of Solomon, and Josephus, the Hebrew Greco-Roman historian, said that there was no Solomon, and that temple belonged to Malki Tzedek, or
Yeah.
Tzedek Salem.
Let me come in. That's the point I'm making here. See, somebody else is bringing up Canaan again. Y'all gotta get your head around this, man. Canaan is the area. That's like saying a country or a region or some shit. Palestine, comparing Palestine to Canaan has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about a capital city. Most empires are named after their capital city. The Roman Empire, the you know what I'm saying? We can do more. You know what I mean? It's the capital city. It's the capital. So the point being made here is that capital that we're all fighting and dying over. This goes back to the Treaty of Haifa, signed in 1192. This capital that we're fighting and dying over. These people came in and said it belongs to us. They did this several times under the name of King David and the Jews, Israel, whatever. Okay, they came back with Richard the Lionhearted and all that. So Saladin had to come back and settle the score with them. This is when the treaty was signed in 1192. So my point I'm making is prior to that treaty, when you use the bloodline or initiation into an order as your credential, this is basically giving Abraham his credential because he doesn't have any native credential to be talking to the Canaanites or so on and so forth. So this gives Abraham his credential when he's blessed by Melchizedek. That's why you have to pay him. It's like Thomas Jefferson was paying us. You see this area around the Mediterranean Sea, there's a lot of rulers there getting paid by the visitors. Okay. And Jesus, or we would call him Isa or whatever, if we want to make him a historical person, in his story, he's of this Canaanite bloodline that goes before the Levites. That goes back to Melchizedek. So this is why in the Treaty of Haifa 1192.
Hold on, bro. Wait one second. Listen, man. Hold on. Let me get my screen right, man. If y'all don't tap the fuck in right now, I've never heard Crib Jesus go in like this. That's why I'm not saying shit. Like, whoa, okay, somebody, man, reading. This brother is going the fuck in. If Crib was going in, man, y'all put 666 in the comments right fucking now, man. So I was just like, oh, he teaching tonight. Okay, that's what we doing. We teaching tonight.
I'm just building with y'all, you know what I mean? That's
teaching tonight. Speaking of teaching, I'm telling y'all, man. June 16th through the 18th, man, this retreat, man. Y'all gotta tap the fuck in with us, man. I'm telling y'all. It's not a game, bro. crumtv.info/events, man. Tap in with us ASAP. You can't tap in person, man, because the spots are limited. Like it's limited seating or lodging rather, but the live stream, man. Do yourself a favor, man. If you never supported anything else, tap in with this, share it. Why not just share it? It ain't gonna cost you nothing to share this shit. Share the event, man. Put it out there. You know what I'm saying? We got over 200 people tapping in right now. I don't doubt by tomorrow morning we'll be at like 1.32K probably. I need all y'all under the sound of my voice to share this shit, screenshot it, get it out there, man. Let people know that we teaching. We teaching. And this brother just brought y'all so much fucking heat just now. Somebody put in the comments, let M.O.I. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, this brother going in. And I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up with the information. Like, God damn, he everywhere. Okay, boom, boom,
Okay,
boom.
no, yeah, put it up there.
You got it in, bro. You teach it, man. Go ahead, continue, please.
Treaty of JAFFA, Treaty of Jaffa 1192.
Hold on.
Just so the people, because I see people saying they're trying to write it down, so I know they may be more visual, so they might want to see it.
What's it called now?
The Treaty of Jaffa 1192, JAFFA.
The 1192, right?
Yes, sir. So this is when we went to take Jerusalem. So this is dealing with everything y'all talking about. How after all these names, Temple of Solomon, Temple of blah, 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 Jerusalem, all these names have been piled on top of it through the years. You know what I mean? All these titles, all these different kings. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Hold on. Now you my fucking territory now.
Come on.
I'm not with the nation. All due respect to the nation. I'm not with the nation, but I know this information right here. You're in my territory right now.
No, this is our territory. This is our fifth degree in our 1 through 14. So as is about us taking this, it says, why did we take Jerusalem from the devil? How long ago? So we break it down, and at the end of it says how many years ago. It says about 750 years. And this is why I earned my spot. Let me pat myself on the back now. Fuck it, I'm gonna turn up. This is why I'm here, because a lot of the guys, you know, they get caught up on, I'm the God, I'm cocky, I'm arrogant. They think it means that. They're not understanding the concept of ruler, landlord, and science and law, and all law. You understand? So when I read about 750 years ago and go back from 1934 and get back to 1184, 1183, and all that, and I get into this crusade, I don't just stop there and say, yeah, the black man, we took the city back. You know what I mean? So this is where I got into this, because on that degree, it takes us here. And what I learned was from the Moors, though. That's why I'm kind of special with putting it together, both different informations. So from the Moors, I understood that when Salahuddin ibn Yusuf signed the treaty with Richard the Lionhearted, that basically substantiated us. You get what I'm saying? On a name level, on a real level, on a you get what I'm saying? Like, we can look at these treaties and see, okay, yeah, that's my grandfather, that's my great grandmother, such and such. You feel what I'm saying?
No doubt. No, I follow exactly what you're saying. And this information right here, like you said earlier, is nothing is secret, but it's something that should be kept sacred, though. So I'm gonna dive in just a little bit on this piece right here to add value, if you don't mind. All right. The Crusades. We're dealing with the oncoming of a new religion called Mohammedanism. It wasn't even called Islam, nothing, because there was no Islam. You don't get Islam until you get your first Quran being printed in 1921. There was no written Quran. This is what I'm telling you. But this new belief called Mohammedanism was encroaching on what they consider to be the Holy Land, which is the kingdom of, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire is the Holy Land, all of it, not just so-called Palestine. It's the whole territory, because the Holy Land was falling under the Pope. The Pope was the vicar of all the Holy Land, and he sent his crusaders. It started off as the Hospitallers, then he got to the Poor Fellows of Christ, then he got to the Knight Templars, then the Hospitallers. In the Hospitallers, you get secret societies like the Jesuit order. I'm saying to tell everybody that this shit been going on for a long time, and it's still going on to this day, actually. Just to add value what the good brother's saying, like, the bloodlines of all this is just real. It's been wars to restore the original teachings of the high priest, the original teachings of, like, some sacred knowledge. And we get splinters of it. So we get the Moorish Temple, we get the Masonic Lodge, we get the Knight Templars. This whole thing that this brother just brought y'all back to, he was talking the whole time. This is not rehearsed. He brought y'all to the Treaty of Jaffa, 1192. See, in 1191, these crusaders were ran out of Isfahan, Turkey, because of Islam or Mohammedanism. 1191, the Mamluk Egyptians. 1092, you had Godfrey of the Bullion. Now, I'm going to show you the reason for this treaty in the first place. Real quick. Godfrey of the Bullion. This is Godfrey of Bullion. Write him down. Write him down. If y'all don't bring y'all ass out to Florida, man, and get this information.
Right.
Now, I haven't talked to Crip about none of this. He took
we moles, man. You know, come on.
He took y'all through the nation and brought y'all to 1192. Let me take you back to show you how to get to 1192. You got Godfrey the Bullion. There was another one called Walter the Penniless and Peter the Hermit. Those are the three first rulers of where? Of the kingdom of Jerusalem. They were ruling Jerusalem in 1099 before 1192 got here. The Lords of Bullion, Emperor Henry the Fourth, the Duke of Lower Lorraine, the Great Saxon Revolt. This is when the Anglicans and the Saxons got together. This is the dawn of Christendom. This is the army of God, the army of the Lord, coming to spread Christendom. See? Godfrey. The point, Charlemagne, you see this right here?
Exactly.
And what I tell you that the Holy Land was a minute ago, it's the Holy Roman Empire. I'm not playing with y'all. I told y'all what it was. That's what the Holy Land is. The Holy Roman Empire under the Pope, under controls like the Vatican now, but back then it was the Hospitallers and the Knight Templars, Godfrey the Bullion and Walter the Penniless. This is called the Crescerian Cross. It's a big cross with 4 crosses around it. This is the Crescerian Cross. You have the Celtic Cross too. These are the different regiments of the army of God coming to take over heaven, the kingdom of Jerusalem. This is the first Crusades. We can go on and on through the third Crusades. Before this, the Punic Wars, fighting over the same territory.
The same damn territory. Now we're talking, and that's what people need to understand. Let me try, and that's why my name is Crip Jesus. As crazy as it sounds, it's like it's to show the people how simple this is. Like, bro, it's the same fight, it's the same conflict, it's the same group of people fighting over the same area. You know,
Islam.
Whether we go into Hannibal versus the Romans,
what I do want to say is right here, though, that Jerusalem was established to be Yahweh's city of peace, called Jerusalem, or now Jerusalem, that was supposed to be established by Melchizedek or Michael. Michael was coming down here to the earth plane to establish a kingdom, for El to come reside down here. That's what he was doing. But if you get caught up in what we just talked about for the last hour, you missed the part that Melchizedek is also Michael. I'm not letting that go.
well, let me see. Can I add a little value to that? Because when we look at the name Melchizedek, it may be a little bit misleading because we say, Tzedek means righteous. Well, I wanted to ask the listening audience, what did Jesus say God's name was? Can we get a 30-second timer on that? What did Jesus say God's name was?
Shit, you got me. You got me scrambling my brain too. Hell, what?
Let's get a good. So let's reference the Lord's Prayer. Jesus said, this is how you pray.
Hold on.
Our Father, whom art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Jesus said that his Father's name is hallowed. If we look at the name hallow, simply meaning holy. And the reason I reference that is because when we look at the name Tzedek, and we say Tzedek means righteous, not Tzedek meaning righteous as a word or just generally speaking, Tzedek meaning righteous, describing God. If you Google the Canaanite God, the Canaanite God's name is Tzedek. I'm gonna say it one more time for the people in the back, because I'm not gonna let y'all get away from the land of Canaan. Just like Jesus said his father's name is hallowed, the Canaanite father, his name is Tzedek. Jesus said his father's name is holy. In the land of Canaan, they said their father's name is righteous. So when
Hold
you
on.
look at,
You said, say it one more time. One more time. You
the
said,
Canaanite God, his name is Tzedek. That's the name of a Canaanite God. His name is Tzedek. In fact, Tzedek is also the name of Jupiter. The name Tzedek is the name of a Canaanite God as well as the name of Jupiter.
Yeah, wow. Damn.
And somebody even, oh, I'm sorry, please.
No, I'm saying this is the deck right here.
So, I don't want you to say, oh, God's name is what? It's holy. Tzedek means righteous. Yeah, just like holy means the name of the Father. The name of the Father is righteous. Please, brother.
Also, the way a name is pronounced or spelled or expressed deals with the culture it comes from. That's why this is important, why we argue and even waste our time talking about this, because if it says Jacob and you sit there and say it's the same as Jacob, you don't get the fucking point. Is that one group of people spells it this way, another group does it this way, so it kind of substantiates which group has the claim to the area there first. So
Correct.
It's like when you see Melchizedek, you have to understand that's Greek. We got that handed down to us from the translation. You feel what I'm saying? Whether we go to this Septuagint or whatever, I'm saying it's still Greek. You feel what I'm saying? So therefore, if you do not accept the Greek people being the original people of that land, then you can agree that, okay, if I was to walk there and see his name written down from the ancient times, it wouldn't say Melchizedek. You feel what I'm saying? So I think when we get that point, we understand why those treaties were important and all that, because that was at a point in time where the myth tale wasn't how they did it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was like, we're gonna write this down, sign this, we fought over this, your name according to such and such. You know what I mean? And at that time, when they had that war, right, they wrote everything down to establish who was what and where, right? And they would say, and this is important because think about it, that war they were having, a lot of them were related to each other, but it had to do with tongue and culture and all that as well. So they're over here fighting, and they're saying, this is Jerusalem. No, this is no, this is the city of Malki Tzedek. No, this is Melchizedek and David, right? So when they signed their treaty over there, check this out. I want to show everybody something, because I know a lot of people probably overlooked this. They signed a treaty because they didn't get their ass whooped. They was able to come to a treaty. But over there was some right across the pond. They do not talk about this at all. At the same, it was not just one fight in Jerusalem. A lot of people don't know this. I didn't find it from no lessons. I found this on my own. This is Crib Jesus shit, right? I'm not saying nobody else knows this, but this is what I found on my own. Look, right across the pond in the Mediterranean, we were whooping their ass all the way around. There was a man named Yaqub al-Mansur. He stands out to me because his name is Yaqub, which is Jacob, basically. So if this nigga, he is Israel. So Yaqub al-Mansur ties up I mean, he goes against, I believe it was 300,000. Let me say that again. Not 300 like that fucking movie. 300,000 white Christians. And he chains them up in groups of 50 after and marches their and sends their ass over to Africa to be sold as slaves. This is the true story of the whatever the hell they are. You feel what I'm saying? So Yaqub the Great, at the same time that the Treaty of Jaffa was being signed and Richard Lionhearted and Saladin were trying to come to their understanding, right across the pond, the Almohad Caliphate, which is, if I'm not mistaken, Al is the in Arabic, so that would be the Mohab. So to me, this is the link here, because they keep you looking across the pond, but if you look over there, right there at Al Andalus, it wasn't Spain in there yet. You know what I'm saying? This was going on at the same exact time. It's not a coincidence. It was like a holy jihad through the whole area. You feel me? And we purged their ass out first. You feel me? Now they go back to the 1400s. They always keep us focused there. But you know, this is why
my point is this right here. I mean, could none of your wisdom. My point is, y'all still not gonna get away from the fact that Melchizedek is Michael. I don't give a goddamn. Y'all not gonna get away from the fact that Melchizedek is really Michael. Y'all just have to accept that. I'm sorry. Melchizedek is Michael. Michael is the son of the order of the created sons. The sons of the second person of the Trinity. This is who Michael is. Michael is a created son. Okay? He's one of the original sons who created. This is who Michael is. So you have Michael, Raphael, Israfel, Gardiel. Those are the L's. Hold on. The L's are what's called a creator son. They have planetary sovereignty. Let me talk my shit for a second and get y'all off this earth plane. They have planetary sovereignty. Michael of Nebadon, write this down, but you're not going to hear nobody else talk about it. Bestowed himself the likeness of the descendants of creator of the universe. So Michael bestowed himself into the likeness. He would be considered to be God. Michael. There were 7 of them. 7 of them. You see that? Our beloved Master Jesus of Nazareth followed this 7th bestowed. Michael of Nebadon earned the right to reclaim the planet from, I give you the whole story, planetary prince of Urantia. That's what we call Urantia. I know this sounds crazy, but write it down anyway. Listen to me now and believe me later on. This is what it's all about. Do you remember that when Michael got into it with him? Remember that story in the Bible? They'll give you like 1 chapter about it. This is in Revelation. They never tell you what happened between Michael or Melchizedek. See right here? Boom. It says Lucifer was a brilliant primary lunatic son of Nebadon. He had experienced service in many systems. There are many star systems. Remember, Jesus said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. He had the highest counsel of the group. He was distinguished for his wisdom, efficiency. It says, Lucifer was number 37 of his order when commissioned by Melchizedek's or a group of individuals, not a person. Anybody can be a Melchizedek or the messenger, or as they say in Islam, Malek al-Madin. The Malek al-Madin. Malek. Don't get confused by these words at all. The brother told you. This is the highest order. This is the highest celestial order of sovereign teachers. We talk about some galactical information. These are system sovereigns. And give me a second, I'm going to show you what a system looks like, or what they call an entire star system. We live in Kepler, in case you didn't know your address. Galactically, this is Kepler. Kepler is the closest star to us, or sun. system. These are sovereigns of multiple star systems. We were talking about the Pleiades earlier. We were talking about different galactical federations. Down here on Earth is just, man, Earth is a small, small story of the whole galactic, the whole situation. In the universe of Nebadon, the dominion of Christ Michael are 10,000 systems, 10,000 star systems, inhabited worlds, all inhabited worlds. And all the history of the Lordak suns, and all throughout these thousands of systems, and at the at the universe headquarters, all three system sovereigns have ever been found in contempt of the government of the Creator's Son. This is giving you the backdrop on what happened. What was called the Lucifer Rebellion. This picks up in Revelation. But the whole time, there's a split in the priesthood. Get this last point out. There's a split in the priesthood, and the split in the priesthood came by way of the Levitical priesthood. The Levitical tribe received a portion of understanding when they came out of Egypt. The Levitical priesthood. They were the scroll keepers, what they call the Lukman, the men of the book, Lukmanati. And they had a portion of the Toho, a portion of the scrolls out of ancient Egypt. So the information they had, they created a new priesthood. Yeshua was said to be after this priesthood. I'm just showing you how big the priesthood is. The Melchizedeks are a group of angels, not one angel. I get the floor.
Excuse me, Brother Minister.
Yes.
If I could just give the family a good citation and reference point for what you're referring to. If you look at the book, this is to the listening audience and those who are going to catch this later. If you look at the book called Urantia, that book is basically going to help break down the bureaucracy of the heavens. You know, it wasn't just chaos up there. It was a well-organized system, and the Urantia book details those things. I yield the floor.
No, that's what it is. Now, the Urantia book gives all the backstories. So reading the Urantia book and reading the book of Enoch, I just found it a little hard to understand this city that was being set up from when the brother was explaining earlier. In my mind, I'm like, well, that was one of the system sovereigns coming down to proclaim some territory on Urantia, on Earth, right? Or let's put it this way, that was El giving his son Inke dominion over this new planetary system. And just to make sure Inke was doing what he needed to do, he sent his brother Enlil and his sister Ea. Now it makes sense because that's a more modern version of what I just explained, was trying to explain. This is an older version of their story up in the heavens. So just wanted to point that out, but thank you.
Well, I wanted to actually say, for me personally, I've been with you and the family and a good brother for about 2 hours now. I'm humbled, grateful, and honored I was able to add such value. I want to thank you, two brothers, as well as everyone within the chat. I am your humble brother Crumb, the master student. I want to leave you the exact same way I came to you, family. If you don't mind, good brothers, may I be excused?
Peace and love, brother. Peace. Be easy, man. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, brother. Unfortunately, my laptop on 1%. But I'm gonna ride to the end though. We're gonna ride to the book cut off.
Well, I mean, we covered a lot though, man. We covered a lot.
I basically feel like we
this is part one though.
Yeah.
This is part one though. You know what I'm saying? We'll come out with a part two where we're gonna, dive in a little further.
But I think just to tie it all together, because I didn't even get the first very beginning, but just I talked to y'all beforehand. So I'll say this, that now that we've all presented everything, that kind of all coalesced together, I feel like the main theme here that we see is like you said, that Melchizedek is Michael, meaning that, or Michelle, everyone say, meaning that it's the same conflict. It's the same two sides of the coin that we see, you know what I mean, moving forward from there. And we see, like how you just said, it's a group of angels, not one. See what I'm saying? They wasn't ready for that. So it's the same battle we see here, you know.
For sure, for sure. Hey, I want to ask you, you got some new music out, man? You got something new out?
I actually do, but
Yeah, listen, I actually do.
no, I do, right? But I want to tell you, I want to tell everybody, just I'm about to really go up on one, you know what I mean? Because y'all got me out here, so just stay tuned. You know, make sure there's no point in me saying go here, go there. I'm on everything. I'm on all platforms. Just how the name sound, Jesus. You feel what I'm saying? But
The new one, though. Right here.
I got so much stuff. Yeah, go and play that for me, y'all. Hey, look. You know the boy Shine. You know he's the president, prime minister in Belize now. You know, I remixed one of his old joints. Yeah. I think you might like my voice on there, man. I was singing. I'm getting my gullah on. Not singing like real Islander. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't hear it. Let me see if I could probably play it.
Yes.
That little 1% I got though might be over once I try that. Oh no.
Yo.
Let me see. Let me just play something. We can try and even.
Play it.
I know it's tripping, man. There we go.
Yeah, script Jesus. Big slime.
This called My Religion.
Money over bitches, I'm crippin', that's my religion. Rockin' true religious with Benjamin stuff up in them. Got the new extension with 32, pop the clip in. Money over.
Damn, did we lose him? We lost you, brother? She put it on the charger. Somebody said put it on the charger. Dang, man. Yeah, I think we lost a good brother. But appreciate y'all for tapping in tonight, man. Tonight was definitely fun. As always. Before I get out of here, I want to do something a little different tonight, man. Hold on. I want to do something a little different tonight, though. Do something a little different tonight. So, what I want to do is just acknowledge some people real quick. We're going to take a second, I promise you. And I was like, you know what? Let me just be humble and acknowledge a couple people real quick. Thanks for rocking with us tonight, man. All y'all. Y'all tapping in tonight. For sure. So this is what I said I'm gonna do. Appreciate y'all, man. Everybody that gave, man, donation, I appreciate y'all. Nothing but love, man. Thanks for giving.
Hello, everybody.